Alright, so I haven't done a video in a while. I was saving up this idea, hoping that my trucks would be a little bit more in one piece, because a couple of them aren't. But I just wanted to review all of my trucks and go through them and just show everybody what I've got. Kind of a way to show you guys what I've got, as well as a historical view for myself, so that I can remember where I was at this stage of the game and see how my RC interests evolve over the years. So I'm just gonna go through each truck, and I'll just show you the trucks right now and tell you which is which. This is my SCX10 trail truck. Right now it's out of commission. It's got the axle needs to be worked on. My mini e-Revo, Losi Mini rock crawler, my chaotic switch Xr10. This is my current comp crawler. My previous comp crawler, which I haven't used for a while, I'm still undecided on what I'm going to do with it. But that's also an Xr10 Viper chassis with a custom cab. I'll go into more detail on each one of the truck's videos. This is my 10th scale Revo, e-Revo. Right now it's not functioning either because I actually stole the electronics for my 4x4 Slash. You may recognize the 4x4 Slash from Medic or RC Sparks, RC Adventures video, Skate Park Pain. That is the truck that is the king of the ring for 2012. Did the ring twice consecutively while encountering traffic. It was a good time. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. And then my son's 4x4 Slash. I just recently acquired that truck, and I don't know a lot about it, but we'll get into it here. And my Aquacraft Minimono. I really haven't got a chance to run it. I only put this black on the top just for identifying, because there's a few people that run the same truck, there's the same boat, and it's easy to get them confused, and then your steering goes bad, and then it gets expensive. So that's all my trucks. What I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to have a link on each truck. So if you're interested in any particular vehicle, I guess, including the boat, just hover over it, and there should be a box that appears, and if you click on that, it'll take you directly to the video of that, or the spot in the video of that vehicle. I'm not sure how well it's going to work, but we'll give it a shot. And so I'm going to leave it for about 10 seconds here for you to decide if you want to decide on one of the vehicles. And if you don't decide, then it'll just play through all of them. If that's the way you want to do it, then that's fine as well. Alright, so here's a video for my SCX10 trail truck. This truck needs a little bit of work. As you can see, the axle is out. But I'll just give a quick overview. School bus body, short bus. I did that for a comedic effect. I also had some 2.2 mashers on there. They were a little too big and too bouncy. Didn't perform very well on the trail, so I decided to take those off. I've just got the stock flat irons. That's what I normally run. Weighted wheels, and these are G-made Junifac plastic wheels. And if we pull up the truck, it's highly customized. I've got steel rock rails, steel front and rear bumpers. The guys that I play with like to play rough, so I'd rather not have to replace those plastic parts constantly. It does give the truck quite a bit of weight, but it's a sacrifice. I've repositioned the servo up to the chassis just for clearance and to keep it out of the water and the mud a lot, because we do run a lot in the water and the mud. I've got a waterproof box. Inside there is a BEC, the receiver, and I think that's all, just the BEC and the receiver. I could also throw a small speed control in there, like if you wanted to use an FXR or something to that effect. But I'm currently running the Velonian VXL system with a motor. I don't recall where I got that motor. I think I got it from Hobby King. I've had it for a while. It was just one that I threw in there when my previous motor died. I've got MIP drive shafts. You can see half of a shaft here. I did have to shorten and modify them when I built the school bus because I needed a shorter wheelbase. Typically I'll put my batteries on top of the rock rails here. That's what this is for, just to protect them from hitting the spur gear there. And I've got big bore shocks on it on the front and rear. The big bore springs on the rear. I'm not too happy with the performance of those springs, so I've got these softer stock SCX10 springs on the front. I haven't had it out with this spring setup yet, so I'm not sure how it's going to work. I've got a custom 4-link in the back. I just used a chunk of Delrin and just bolted the 2 top links to it. It works fine. It's still 3-linked in the front, which works okay. The plastic is, I wish they had aluminum upgrades for that, but it's okay. This truck, I kind of hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. I love it when it works, I hate it when it doesn't, and it doesn't more often than it does. I just have constant problems with it. I end up carrying it out of the trail more often than I don't, so that's why it's not fixed. I just don't have the ambition to fix it because it doesn't seem to like me very much. But that's my SCX10. I do like it. I wish I could get it working better. It'll take a little bit of work. I just don't have a lot of finances to spend on it right now. The drive shafts, I had actually upgraded the front axle to Xr10 knuckles and shafts, or knuckles and C's, and the drive shafts had to be Xr10 as well. I wanted to do that to get more steering throw because the universal is not the C cups, so they'll give more throw without popping out. But I actually cut this one a little bit too short, or it broke off, I can't really tell, and so I need to get a new drive shaft, and that's a $40 expense that I'm really not interested in paying right now for this truck. It's like I said, I'm tired of fixing it and working on it, so right now it's just been shelved. It's just one of those, I'm sure everyone's experienced it, where you're just tired of working on it. You'd rather just drive the thing, and some of my other trucks work a lot better than this one, so I'd rather just drive this. But that's my SCX10. Nothing fancy, a lot of custom homemade stuff. Yeah, that's the SCX10, so let's move on to the next truck. Alright, so the next truck is 10th scale Revo. This is an e-Revo. The Camaro body on it. I really like this body. I like how it turned out. The color's nice. I believe that's just a Parma metallic blue, but I'm happy with how that turned out. I really like it. And this is the inside of it. Like I said, it's pretty basic, pretty torn out, because I took the RX-8 combo and the T8 motor out of this to put in my 4x4 Slash. This truck doesn't have a lot in the way of upgrades. Some links that look like they've been upgraded to aluminum. Again, I bought this truck used, so some of the work isn't mine. The Traxxas receiver, the 2.4 link, I really like that because it's just so easy. You can grab any remote. If you can't find the specific remote, you can just grab a different one. If I forget my remote at home, I can steal my kid's remote and we can switch on and off, and without having to change receivers or bind or anything ridiculous like that. But yeah, this it's just your basic 10th scale Revo. Some upgrades. There's not a lot to tell on this one. See the bottom? It's all banged up. As you can see, I didn't bother cleaning up these trucks. I want it to be real. This is about being real with these trucks. I mean, this is how they look. This is how I run them. Yeah, there's not a lot to go on that one. So that's it for that one. 17 mil hexes. I think that's pretty typical. Proline wheels with caliber tires. It goes like snot. If I put 6 cell in it, I just twist rear drive shafts out of it, so I try to keep it to 4 cell. But yeah, it just breaks stuff if I put 6 cell in it. It's just crazy fast. That's it for the 10th scale Revo. That one was kind of boring, I know, because there's nothing special to it. It's just a good truck. I like it, but I needed the electronics. Can't afford to shell out for another set right now, so it's just sitting on the shelf. until I get bored with the 4x4 Slash, and then maybe I'll throw the electronics back in there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Yeah, that's it for the 10 scale Revo. Next up, the 4x4 Slash. This is my favorite basher right now. It's just a great truck. It seems to work. I bought it as a 4x4 Stampede actually originally. I changed the chassis, which basically turned it into a Slash, and then I put a buggy body on it and a wing, and now it backslashed. That's pretty much all I did to it to backslash it. A lot of people go a lot further into it, but I wasn't really interested in doing all that. It didn't. This gives me the effect, which is all I was really going for. As you can see in here, same Traxxas receiver, the 2.4 link. Like I said, it's my favorite thing because you can just pick up any radio and any truck and just go. The tires on it are 10th scale short course trucks. They're from Hobby King. They're dirt cheap. I think I paid like $10 for a pair for the wheels and the tires, so that's why I went with those. They hook up on asphalt and concrete. They just hook up like mad. I had them on my Mini Revo, and I was doing like standing back flips on a polished, dusty warehouse floor. So they're just crazy. And in here, like I said before, I've got the RX8 and the T8 combo. The motor is the 2250 kV. I had it on 4-cell for the skate park paint video, if you saw that. It was kind of slow. It wasn't as fast as it could have been. I'm going to run it on 6-cell next year. I can't wait. It's going to be just crazy. But this is the truck that did King of the Ring for 2012 for skate park paint. Looped the ring twice consecutively, and encountered some traffic on the way too. I even hit a truck and a light on the top of the full pipe. So it was a great time though. This truck for hop-ups, it really doesn't have anything other than the motor and the speed control. There's not a lot of upgraded parts. RPM arms, just a Tower Hobbies basic servo. It was in it when I bought the thing. And RPM arms in the rear. Like I said, the Hobby King wheels. I do have the MIP drive shafts in the rear. I bought those after skate park paint because that was the only thing I broke. I broke like 3 of those. The output, or the stub axle, and I broke that a few times. So I ended up going MIP just to upgrade that. I thought it was a worthwhile investment because it seems pretty bulletproof other than that. So those were the only thing that were letting me down. And I think with the MIP, sure, something else is going to break instead of the drive shaft, but it'll be a lot less often. I don't mind changing a transmission gear or something like that once a year rather than a stub axle once every run. But yeah, this is currently my favorite basher. It is quite heavy with that RX8 system in there. It's a little tough, especially when I put big batteries in there too. It's a little tough to balance it out and to land it nice because of the weight. But the wheel speed helps balance it out a lot. But that is the 4x4 Slash. My 4x4 Slash. I still have my son's to go here. And yeah, it's an overall great truck. I did rebuild the axles, the diffs, just to make sure that it's all smooth and it performs how I want. I've got it running quite nicely now. I do have it really low to the ground. That was just for skate park paint. I'll probably lift it up for bashing season out in the fields and dirt jumps and stuff like that. But that's 4x4 Slash. Okay, next truck is my son's 4x4 Slash. We just bought this one. I just gave it to him I made him a deal after his 3rd reporting period. His grades were starting to slip, so I made him a deal that if he pulled up 2 of his grades, increased 2 of them by at least 1 grade level, that I would buy him a trail truck or a 4x4 Slash. And this is what I end up finding. I found it for a reasonable price used. So this is the 4x4 Slash. It did have quite a few hop-ups on it. Basically just a 4x4 Slash with a Traxxas servo. I'm pretty sure that's the servo that would have came with it originally. A Mamba Max speed control, 10th scale, and a Traxxas Link receiver, and a Castle motor. I think that's the 5700, no, 4600 kV Castle motor. It did originally come with the shock or the body mounts here as aluminum, red aluminum as well. They're made by Energy. They're absolute crap. For these parts up here, I lid skidded it a few times and they were just mangled so bad there was no fixing them. So I just went back to plastic. The plastic has a little bit of give and they don't bend nearly as easily. I kept the body post mounts just for a little bling, that's all. No reason. The aluminum is really unnecessary there. But again, the Hobby King tires, same as the 4x4 Slash, my other 4x4 Slash. Really great tires. Tires and wheels, I think it was like $10 or $11 for a pair, so can't go wrong with that. It's also got the they're GH Racing, sorry, not Energy, GH Racing A-arms on the bottom, aluminum A-arms. They seem pretty good. I'm not sure if I like the aluminum down there, but they seem alright. Same with the rear, same idea, the GH Racing aluminum A-arms. This truck, it seems alright. It's, like I said, after I changed out these top body mounts, then it's fine. It's just that aluminum was so soft and it just fell apart. But yeah, it's a pretty good truck. I haven't ripped into this one to rebuild the diffs or anything like that, so it doesn't drive ideally, but it's for a 9-year-old. He doesn't really care how it drives. As long as it drives, that's all that matters. But that's my son's 4x4 Slash. And let's move on to the next one. Alright, next is my 16th scale Revo. I really like this truck as well. This one's a lot of fun. I neglect it a lot though. I haven't really put anything into it other than what it absolutely needs for the last while. As you can see, the body is Herbie. Headlights falling out. The headlights did actually work at one point, just through a servo lead. I'm not sure if they still do work, but this body is just mangled. It's been well abused. So here's the truck, and it's again got these Hobby King tires on it. Concrete, dusty warehouse floor. I was able to do standing triple backflips where everybody else was just drifting around. They couldn't get any traction, so I was really happy with those. I've got a 10th scale motor in here that I did this myself. I just used a piece of flat bar and ran it across to the two spots where the stock motor would mount, and then up to the 10th scale motor. It seems to work really well. I did bend the motor plate a little bit, so it may be causing me issues. I've stripped the spur a couple of times the last time I had it out, so it may be because of the bent motor plate. I'm almost certain it is. But here is the radio, Traxxas Link again, and on the other side is a Sidewinder, Mamba Sidewinder speed control, 10th scale speed control, with the 5700 kV Castle motor. That's an older motor, it's not the new 4-pole ones. And then in the, I actually do have batteries in it, so I can show you which batteries I run. I believe they are Zippy 1600 3 cells, and they are zippy too. This thing is fast. I can barely keep it down because it just wheelies all over the place. They're the Zippy 3 cell 1600 mAh. And then a Turnigy servo. I'm really impressed with this servo. I can't, what's the model number? TGY 3900 MN. I'm really impressed with that servo. I've had it in there for a while, and it hasn't died on me. I've killed so many of the stock Traxxas waterproof servos, and this one's it's outlasted those by far. So I'm happy with those. I've also got upgraded links, the aluminum links. I would not do that again, just because they break, they bend and they break. The plastic ones were probably much better in there. I would put steel balls in the plastic ones though, because the plastic balls they just get destroyed really easily. And I've got aluminum A-arms on the rear as well, and on the front, and this aluminum skid. That's the only aluminum I've really gone with on this, and it's almost destructible as far as that goes. Like I said, I've stripped the spur, but I haven't broken an A-arm, or I broke this one link but the top A-arms I haven't broken. It's pretty. I abuse it pretty good, and it's been pretty good to me. It hasn't broken very often, so I'm pretty happy with this truck as well. It does need a little bit of work. I should probably tear it down and rebuild the diffs because they haven't been done for a while, and a few other minor things. But this is a pretty good truck as well. I really like it. It's crazy fast. It jumps like mad. The big tires on it make it so you can gyro it pretty easy to get a safe, smooth landing. I just need to put a new pinion and spur in it. The pinions are ripped up too. I think that's why the spur keeps getting chewed up. But other than that, it's a great truck. That's it for the Mini Revo. Alright, next up we'll take a look at the boat. This is a Aquacraft Minimono. I bought it off of a suggestion from a friend of mine, and I haven't had much luck with it, but that's because I modified it right from the start. I took out the stock speed control and motor, and I put in this Traxxas stuff. It's supposed to be really good in here. I had some problems with the shaft not lining up with the motor, and the wrong size collet on there, and I've only really had it out once, and it sounded like it was going like a bat out of hell, but it was really, really slow. So it's got some work, but I'm not saying that the Minimono is bad. I'm just saying that I probably should have just run it as a stock configuration for a while first, just to get a feel for it before I started modifying it. I just wanted to modify it right out of the box so that I could sell the stock stuff, because a lot of people that I've heard of would just just go aftermarket right away. Stock, it is crazy fast, but as all RCers, you always want faster. So the top of the boat, I did it, we covered in black vinyl. I was just testing my vinyl skills on curved surfaces, and it obviously isn't very good. But it's more just to identify my boat, because there are quite a few guys that we go out with that have the same boat, the Minimono, and it only comes in one color and one decal scheme. So to identify it while it's out there flying around, it's kind of difficult. So I just did that to distinguish it from the other guys, because I don't want to be steering the wrong boat, looking at the wrong boat, and then end up crashing it or whatever. That gets expensive. So that's the Minimono. It's, like I said, I can't really base an opinion on it because I haven't had it out. I've only had it out once, and it wasn't working properly. So once I get it working properly and tuned in, I'm sure I'll really enjoy it. But that's it for that. Okay, next up is my previous rock crawler, comp crawler. I really enjoyed this truck. It was very good to me. I only changed because I wanted to try the lightweight route, or lighter route. This truck, when I drove it, it was 7 pounds. When I drove it previously in the comps. It's got a lot of bells and whistles. It used to have knuckle weights. I took those off to put on my new truck because I didn't want to spend another $100 on those. I figured that was one of the easy things to take with me. It's got Vanquish SLW V1 wheels. Those are weighted inside as well. High-tech 7950 servo, the long servo horn. That gives me a lot of steering throw so that I can steer quite far from side to side. Rowdy Racing battery plate. This is where I mounted my battery previously. And it's got, in the transmission, it's got the RC 4-wheel drive gears, Vanquish gear housings, motor plates, and Vanquish C-hubs and knuckles. Up in behind the motor is a Brood Apocalypse 35 turn. Up and behind the motor, I used to have a Rowdy Racing plate on the back of the motor as well. You'll see that on my new truck because I took it off of this truck for that because it just didn't have stock on them. But I've got 2 Mamba Micros that are mashed together. I took the heat sinks and kind of meshed them so that it would make a smaller package. They are pretty small. They were pretty smooth. They were pretty good. I enjoyed them. I went to Mamba Sidewinder Micros in my new build just for saving space. And up here I've got my decased receiver. I don't know which model that is. It's probably the stock one that came with the 4PL, because this is the truck that I got the 4PL for. All of my links are custom links. These are all custom made that I just cut out of Delrin sheet, and these ones are just Delrin rod. And I custom made this plate that would lift the links above the motor, because I wanted to have the motor clocked up quite a bit so that it wouldn't drag. It was above the links. So I made this so that I could run straight links and have the motor clocked up quite high. Again, on the rear I've got the Vanquish throughout, and RC 4-wheel drive gears, and a Brood Apocalypse 35 turn motor. I've got Losi 4-inch shocks, and the chassis is, this part here is actually made from a Viper, Underground Crawler's Viper chassis. I wasn't impressed with the cab on the Viper because it was flat, and it was almost impossible, if you got over on your lid, it was almost impossible to flip it back over. And so I made my own custom cab. I made it much more rounded so that if I did get on my lid, I could just rock the truck and I would be able to flip over a lot easier. And so that's made out of I believe 1.5 inch or 1.5 mil carbon fiber. I got that from Hobby King as well. It's actually really good quality carbon fiber. I never had any issues with it. The holes, I wish I could have drilled nicer. I'd love to have a CNC to do stuff like that, but that's just not an option at the moment. And then the panels I made myself out of probably 0.3 Lexan or something like that. And I've got a vinyl cutter, so I cut these vinyl decals and put them actually between two pieces of Lexan, so it's probably 0.01 or 0.015. But yeah, that's it for that truck. This was a great truck. It treated me well. I'm still undecided on what I want to do with it. Might sell it, might part it out. I'm really undecided on it. I wanted to keep it when I built my new one, just because I wasn't sure yet what I was going to do with it. So that is my previous 2.2 crawler. Let's see what we've got. Alright, up next is my 1.9 comp crawler. This is a Losi Mini comp crawler. The chassis is a Chaotic Pro. It's a pretty nice chassis. I just got this chassis recently, actually. Before I just had the stock chassis, and it was alright, but I just decided to upgrade more for the look and the bodyless concept than anything else. I made my own custom wheels made out of carbon fiber, 1.5 mil carbon fiber. I just used a hole saw and drilled them out, and used a hole saw to cut the outside size, drilled a hole for the hub, and then just lined up a hub and a beadlock ring on the outside, and just kind of used that for a pilot for holes. And this truck, I've got a very custom steering setup, which not many other people have, if anybody that I know of. I think I was the original person to do it, but I could be wrong. I've got Xr10 Vanquish knuckles and C-hubs on there, aluminum knuckles and C-hubs, and so it's an entire Xr10 steering setup. I've got just a Delrin rod connecting the two, and I get a lot of steering throw. For a Mini, this is a lot of steering throw. It's probably twice what my other competitors in my club get, and I know a lot of them are jealous, and some of them have even asked me to to customize theirs to have the Xr10 stuff as well. It does give you the behind the axle steering, which is a slight disadvantage because rocks may slide and hook up on there, but realistically it's never been a problem, and the steering has been a huge advantage several times. I'm running the Losi MRC Mini T springs on it. They seem to work okay. They're a little bit short for this truck, which I didn't realize at the time, but I just put them on there anyways, and they seem to work fine. Inside, you can see inside the wheel there, I've got some weights. Those are actually just collars for a hydraulic ram that I picked up from a local store called Princess Auto. I believe it's only in Canada, but they fit nicely over top of the Vanquish hubs, that I have in there, the SLW hubs, and they give me some weight on the front wheel, because other than that I really had no options for weight up front. I couldn't really put it in the wheel because of the wheels, how I made them, and because of how small the wheels are. I couldn't put the Vanquish weights on, knuckle weights on either, so that was pretty much my only option for weight up front, and it works pretty good. I've got a similar setup on the back, some just smaller of the same thing that I just put over top of the lockouts, and just they have a set screw in them. You just clamp down the set screw. The set screw's on the bottom there. Just clamp down the set screw and they're good to go. On this truck, I don't have a lot of I've got MIP drive shafts. That's almost a necessity. I do have the aluminum gears for the transmission. I've just never installed them because I haven't wrecked the plastic ones, so I haven't bothered. For electronics, I've got a 7950 high-tech servo. That's a lot of power for this little guy. I've got the BEC turned down so that it hopefully won't rip the thing apart if I get in a bind. I've got an FXR, Tekin FXR speed control, Castle Creations BEC, and a receiver for my 4PL up in the back there. It's really difficult to see in there. But there's, and then I run the battery on this back platform here. Yeah, this is a good truck. I really like it. I've got another pair of these, what are they, Cobras? Yeah, Panther Cobras. They've got another name, I can't recall it right now, but I've got another pair of those for the rear. I'm not sure if I'm going to put those on the rear though. I kind of like the setup of the Rovers on the rear and these on the front, because I don't know, it just seemed to work for me last comp. The only reason I did it before is because I didn't have time to make another set of wheels, another pair of wheels. So I just ran this setup and it worked fine. So I might keep it that way. But yeah, that's my Losi Mini Crawler 1.9. Alright, up next, it's my pride and joy. This is my brand new, well, not brand new, about a month old, Xr10 chaotic switch comp crawler. Now this one has got a lot of mods that are similar to my other comp crawler, but I'll go through them again just in case you didn't see that video. So starting at the front, I've got custom made wheels. These I just made out of 1.5 mil carbon fiber. I just used a hole saw, cut them out, drilled through the center, and then just used a beadlock ring from the stock Xr10 wheels to template the holes, and then I used a hub to template the holes in the center, and it works really well. I'm happy with how they turned out. On the inside of the axle, or on the inside of the wheel, I've got the Vanquish knuckle weights, brass knuckle weights. I've also got Vanquish C-hubs and knuckles. And in the transmission, I've got RC four-wheel drive gears, the Vanquish motor cases, motor plates, and on the other side, the same thing, C-hubs, knuckles, brass knuckle weights. High-tech 7950 servo with a Castle BEC. The Castle BEC is tucked up underneath the servo, you really can't see it. And then I've got this really neat radio that I found. It's a 2006, I believe, and it goes with my 4PL. And if you can see, the pins come out the side of it, which I thought was really nice, because then I could put it up on top of the motor and I wouldn't have the wires coming up and potentially getting ripped off. I did solder the wires on there instead of using connectors, mostly because the connectors, I really hate crimping them, but also the connectors would have given extra length and may have bound on the shock, so I wasn't going to take that chance. The solder works really well. If I have to take it apart, it's a bit of a nightmare, but I haven't had that problem yet, so I'm crossing my fingers. Also up on the motors, I've got a pair of Sidewinder speed controls, Sidewinder Micro, and those are just double-sided tape to the motor and squished together into one small package. So the only wiring that I have in the truck really is from the one speed control to the back motor. All of the electronics is on the front axle. The servo, the BEC is under the servo, the receiver's right there, the two speed controls are right there, and then I've got a rowdy plate where I mount my battery. So the battery will go right in here. So everything is on the front axle. There's nothing inside the chassis except for wires running to the rear motor, and nothing on the rear except for the rear motor. The motors are a Brood creep, Type R 37 or 35 turn. I went with the creep because I noticed I was stalling out a little bit on the Apocalypse motors on my previous truck, and I thought the creep might help. So far it doesn't seem to be the case. It's still stalling out a little bit. Maybe it's just I'm expecting too much from them, I'm not sure, but that doesn't really matter all that much. So the chassis is the Chaotic Switch, made by Chaotic Crawlers. I believe it's 1.5 mil carbon fiber for both the chassis and the cab. Body panels on it as well, just to stay spec, because you have to have those. All of the links, front and rear, or top and bottom, and the steering link, are all from Chaotic as well, custom made for this chassis to give you the perfect length and the perfect setup for high clearance. It is pretty high clearance. At the top of the links it's about 4 inches. At the back of the chassis it's about 3.5, I believe, and at the front of the chassis it's about 3.25. The rear axle is very similar to the front. It's got the same motor, the Vanquish plates and cases, RC 4-wheel drive gears, and my custom wheels. I do not have aluminum lockouts. I just didn't bother with those. I don't see the advantage to them. I do have custom drive shafts though that are made by Seldom Bend. They were about $80 or $100 or something like that, but they're very thick and very heavy. I was bending rear stubs, or rear drive shafts at the stub, so I decided to go with that upgrade just to prevent that from happening, because those were $30 every time I bent them, so it wasn't that bad of an upgrade for $100. It ended up probably saving me money in the long run. And then the shocks that I've got are Traxxas big bores. These are the 4-inch version, 2026 I believe, or no, 2062 I believe is the product number. But these are the mini T springs, the silver rear springs that I've got in here. My body panel just ripped out, so that's why that's off like that. And then on the front I've got the mini T mediums. I can't remember what color they were originally. I think they were red or pink maybe, but they're the mediums. I just painted them black just for the aesthetic look. I didn't like the bright colors on the truck, so but yeah, that's my comp crawler. Not sure if there's anything else to tell. It's been doing all right for me. I need to just drive it. I need to get it tuned in a little bit. I've placed decently in a couple of competitions. I think it's more driver fault than truck fault. I just get frustrated and then fall apart. So I'm hoping I'll do a little bit better. We got another comp tomorrow, so I'm hoping it'll turn out a little bit better for me. But that's my Xr10, my current Xr10, my pride and joy. That's the truck that I probably drive the most and enjoy the most, and it's been good so far. Hopefully it only gets better. That's all of my trucks right there. Hope you enjoyed the video, or videos, depending on how it ends up, and I hope you maybe learned a thing or two and how to build your trucks. Sorry about the lighting and the setup, the crappy table, all that stuff. I'm doing what I can with what I've got. I don't have a fancy studio and white tablecloths and stuff like that like some of the guys. Just an RC guy that likes to do video. So I'm not a video guy that does RC. So I don't have all the video toys. I have the RC toys. The video, that's secondary to me. So there's all my trucks and boat, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.